Hello everyone, I'm Nicole Herrick DIY and welcome to episode 3 of the Skin Clinic Makeover. Now in this episode, I'm going to make over Sue's main office / treatment room. We're going to paint her desk, we're going to put up some beautiful art, we're going to make everything softer and just more inviting. And just before we get started, if you love DIY, interior decorating and design, all on an affordable budget, please do consider subscribing. It is free and I upload videos every 2 weeks. I've also got a huge back catalogue of interesting projects to help you save money and live in a beautiful home. All right, are you ready? Let's go. Alright, so let's take a look at Sue's office beforehand. Now, as you can see, it is a perfectly professional office. It's just lacking a little bit of warmth, style, and it feels a little bit empty. So the first thing I'm going to start with is her desk. I'm actually going to paint it white. A lot of you are going to hate me, but whatever, I'm painting it white. Here's a few tips when you are painting furniture, whether it is a stained or varnished timber like this, or even a laminate. You want to start by cleaning it and then doing a light scuff sand. The intention of this sand is not to take off any of the finish or the colour, just to give a little bit of grip for the primer to stick to. Don't sand it inside because the dust goes everywhere unless you have one of these wet and dry vacs. I like to use a random orbital sander with a ceramic mesh disc because they last 10 times longer than any other disc. You can use a sanding sponge for around any detail work. Next up, it's time to give it an extra good scrub to get rid of any grease, because any grease left on there, trust me, it will peel off that paint later on. Any kind of degreasing detergent or even sugar soap is good for this. Alright, so we're ready to prime this. Now the only primer I use is Zinsser BIN. Now this is a shellac based paint and this will stick to glossy surfaces. So even if there's some bits that aren't quite roughed up enough, this will stick to it. And it also is very resistant to scratching once it cures. So give it a few weeks before you really beat into your desk. And then also it stops bleed through. Now I've used the other Zinsser, the one that's supposed to stop stains, and it doesn't stop the tannins bleeding through. So this one does, so I just stick with this one. Now you can apply this with a brush. It's going to look really streaky, but this is really thin, so it's not going to leave actual paint marks that you can feel. It's going to feel nice and smooth. So use a brush if you want to. You can use a roller, but you've got to get into all the detail work anyway. So I'm just going to use a brush for the whole thing. Now a tip is to make sure you've got some method handy and a rag, because this dries really, really fast. And you want to make sure if you get a little spill on something else, you clean it up straight away. And the other tip is to work in small sections. The paintbrush will only load up with a small amount of paint because it's so thin, and you can't go over one section too many times. So just do a small section, go over it, dip back in, and then start on a new section. Don't go back into that section because it'll start pilling up and start creating texture. All right, time to go in with top coat, and I really love using Taubman's Endure in a low sheen. I just find that it's really durable, and I've got a cat who likes to scratch the corners of my bedside tables, which I did with Taubman's Endure, just the regular low sheen, and she doesn't scratch off any paint somehow. I don't know, like if that's not a good test of scratch proof, then I don't know what is. This is a little bit more pricey than your regular house wall paint, but it is worth it. And the other thing is that you only need probably 2 coats max of this, whereas all the other like sort of regular brands, you need 3 coats at least to stop it being patchy. So it might seem like a little bit more, but you'll actually need less paint, so it's not really more. Don't you go anywhere. Next up, I'm going to show you how to get the most affordable curtains you have ever seen made custom. I'm also going to style this shelf and make it look like we've been curating this collection for years. Just a reminder that if you haven't already subscribed, it's free. There is loads of cool content already on my channel and I upload every 2 weeks. All right, time to add some softness to this room, and nothing adds softness more than curtains. They make such a huge difference in a room. If you saw episode 1 where I changed out the heavy dark velvet navy curtains into some medium transparency white curtains, this is just the same curtaining again. So my client Sue always had these blinds shut because the view out there just isn't very nice. Having this medium transparency allows her to be able to open the blinds but not have her clients see the outside view. Natural light will always warm up a space and will get rid of a lot of those cold downlights. I ordered these curtains from a supplier on AliExpress and I got them custom made to the size I wanted with tabs on the back so they look like an S-fold without having to pay for an S-fold track. I'll link the company I use below because I saved thousands using them. All right, time to style these huge shelves. Now, with them being so big, I needed a lot of pieces. So the first thing I did was jump on Marketplace and find some vintage encyclopedias that went with my neutral color scheme. I then went to AliExpress and grabbed a few decor and greenery pieces. I also went to Kmart and grabbed a few there, and I also went to a few op shops just to grab a few more pieces. So combined, this creates a curated collection that looks like we've gathered it over years, even though it was just a few weeks. I also decided to change out the silver handles that were underneath this in the storage area just to make them gold because we had that as our accent metallic in our mood board. Doing little things like this just helps elevate the space to be very cohesive. I filled any existing holes that weren't going to be covered just with some multi-filler, gave it a really light sand with my finger just so that there wasn't anything left on the laminate, and then went ahead, drilled some new holes for my handles and popped them on. Don't you go anywhere. Next up, I am mounting a beautiful piece of art. This room really needed some artwork, so I was going to paint one myself in sort of some neutrals, but I saw this one and absolutely fell in love, and it happened to be 40% off, so I grabbed it. Alright, so I have this picture light that I got from IKEA. Actually, I bought it secondhand, so it's really not from IKEA, but it is silver and I need gold. So I've grabbed some rub and buff and we're going to turn this into a beautiful realistic looking gold. This one is the gold leaf color, and all we're going to do is rub it on with our fingertips, and the warmth of our fingertips will help it blend in. We're going to let that set for a little while and then we're going to buff it to a beautiful shiny gold. You can leave it more of a dull matte gold, or you can buff it for a shiny gold. Now this is like a waxy stuff. This tube looks really tiny, but a tiny bit goes a really long way. So I'm just going to grab this much first. Start buffing this on. Okay. Just work it in. You can see that the more I rub, the golder that gets. Already we can see that that is looking like a very realistic gold. Now this is so much better than using a gold spray paint. In my opinion, a gold spray paint, most of them are never going to look like a real gold metal. They just kind of look like gold spray paint. This stuff, rub and buff, this makes it look like it was made out of gold. Adding a picture light, in my opinion, really brings up the luxe vibes in any room. This one just plugs into the wall, so you don't even need an electrician to install it. No. Okay, this is the last ad. I promise. I gotta pay the bills. Okay.
Ready?
Ready. Go.
Wow! This curtain and this light.
Look at him here, Thomas.
Wow!
Wow, yes, all the my certification is in here.
Yeah.
Ah, and you painted it.
I did. I painted your desk.
Wow.
Wow! It's totally. Wow!
I can't can't believe this is my clinic. Oh, wow! Look at here, Thomas. Like someone like, is it my clinic?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This is your clinic.
Wow.
Because I knew already a few years. Why shouldn't I have asked you before earlier?
I probably wouldn't have said yes before.
Just good timing then. Wow.
Wow. You must be the really hard work.
Much more than expected. Sorry, my English.
Oh,
because
good.
I can.
This is a molded. Also,
Yeah.
really. I can't, you know. It's not good.
Yeah. That's what I told to Thomas, like, because I can't describe more than thank you or wow or like.
I actually have one more room that go in there, but there is another little thing to have a look at. Are you ready? Now this next room, I've got to warn you, it's a little bit different
Okay.
than the first two rooms.
Okay.
Yep, she's scared now. Okay, let's go.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
Okay, just close your eyes while I open the door and get in there. Okay, you can open. Are these happy tears, or is she going to quietly kill me? Find out next time on the final episode of the Skin Clinic Makeover. Haven't seen the other videos in this series? Click here to watch them all. Or you can binge some of my other content right here. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, the best thing you can do for me is to subscribe, turn on notifications, press like, and drop a comment below.